It's another busy weekend at West Point, and we'll get started with the Army Gymnastics team, who take on Service Academy rival Air Force this Friday at 6 up at the Lou Gross Sports Center. The Black Knights have had two competitions this year so far, a dual meet to open the season against Penn State, and then 2 weekends ago they hosted the 25th West Point Open. The Black Knights scores haven't been where they want this year, but head coach Doug Van Ameren knows it's going to come down to one thing this weekend. Whichever team hits their routines better, that team's going to come away with the victory.
Overall, we were able to get a few more numbers under our belt. We're still not, hitting consistently as much as we want to. However, we are doing like an increased difficulty load on a lot of these routines. So, all in all, I think these guys should be ready to go. We're going to give them a run for it. It'll be a very close match. Right now, the one event that I know that they can beat us pretty handily on is rings. And so our job is to make sure that we have a big enough advance, on some of the other events. Floor, very good event for us, pommel horse, vault, and really the rest of the events are strong. And so for us, it's going to matter. It's going to come down to who hits. That's who's going to win.
The women's tennis team had the start to their spring season snowed out last week due to travel, as they were supposed to be in Syracuse, but they return home this weekend as they have their first 3 home spring matches of the season. They'll take on Binghamton, Sacred Heart, and Seton Hall this weekend, all teams that are always towards the top of their conference, and will pose a strong challenge for the Black Knights.
We've had some really good, the last 3 weeks have had some really strong practices. I like the level that we're playing at right now. And this weekend will be a good measure as to where we are and what we need to work on. We have a good mix of veteran players, and we have some really solid younger players coming in. So I'm interested to see how it all works out. Well, they're all 3 very solid teams. And Binghamton has a strong program. They're near the top of the America East. Sacred Heart's always in the mix for an NEC championship. And then obviously Seton Hall's in a strong conference, being in the Big East. So they have a good mix of international players. So we're looking forward to the competition.
Coming off a huge 75-38 victory over Navy in the Star Game, the Army West Point women's basketball team returns to action at Crystal Arena this Saturday as they take on conference leader Bucknell. The Black Knights are 1 game behind them in the Patriot League standings and really need this victory to secure a great position for the Patriot League playoffs coming up at the beginning of March. Now, last year the format was the higher seed hosted no matter what round it is. This year it's a little bit different format where the highest seed left in the tournament starting in the semifinals host the semifinal games and the championship match. The Black Knights, currently sitting in second place behind Bucknell, would jump into first place with the victory here, with their overall record being higher than Bucknell, as is the biggest game on the Black Knights season thus far, coming up at Crystal Arena on Saturday afternoon.
The first thing is you got to acknowledge the fact that Bucknell has not skipped a beat. I mean, as well as they played against us in Game 2 of the league, the series, they have just gotten better. There just doesn't seem to be a lot of chinks in their armor right now. They've got 3 of the top 7 scorers in the league. Their 4th, 5th, and 6th scorers are right behind them. They are scoring, very easily. Their balance and production from so many people, starting with the number 2 scorer in the league, Claire DeBoer, and I just think that Klotz is really emerged as one of the premier players in the league. It's really going to be a challenging game for us because they were the one team that I felt that just really picked us apart at the end of our pressure, and we weren't able to sustain any kind of an offensive game against them because of their defense.
Teams in action on the road this week can include the men's basketball team. They're at Bucknell to take on the Bison. The hockey team's up in Niagara for 2 games Friday and Saturday to take on the Purple Eagles. The track team's at the Armory Invitational and the Penn State Invitational this weekend, while the wrestling team takes part in the All-Academy Championships, and the rifle team's down in Akron. That's going to do it for your weekend preview. For Night Vision, I'm Zach Daly.